Good morning. My name is Sabina Dovzhenkova. I'm a social worker for legal clinics and I'm a PhD student at Catholic University of America. Today in our presentation, briefly we will talk about what is the social worker, why do we need one, and how student attorneys can be engaged with social worker. We will talk about importance of being trauma informed, what is trauma and vicarious trauma, secondary traumatic stress, and how it can impact you and your work, and what are the trauma informed practices and how to prevent vicarious trauma in your day-to-day life. What is social worker? Social worker basically is a person who is providing help and assistance to people and their communities to prevent and cope with their daily challenges and problems. For National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics, the primary mission of social worker is to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people, especially of people who need the help the most, who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. And this leads us to a question, why do we need a social worker in legal clinic settings? As we know, law clinics provide legal assistance to their clients. However, social worker can be your additional support. Social worker is there for you to provide help and navigate through the barriers and assist with locating appropriate resources and services which your clients can benefit from and which can help them to be successful in general, not just during their legal processes. Here we will talk about client focused versus clinic focused. Client focused is based on consultations with your clients and making appropriate referrals on a specific case through the direct meetings with clients and student attorneys and providing the client case management process by navigating and connecting them with providers and services which are beneficial for them. Clinic focused is based on providing the student attorneys with useful tools and resources. As you may notice, I was sending Monday resources and Wednesday's wellness emails. Upon request, social worker can provide some trainings to the students and faculty and overall be student support through providing general information about available resources, training, and services. And of course, if needed, make any necessary referrals. Here we have a slide with a breakdown of past work with student attorneys in the clinics last semester. From the prior experiences, you can see that social worker mostly provided assistance to law clinics in case consultations and resources requests. Of course, social worker and law clinics engagement can vary based on the caseload and client's needs, what we might have during this or that semester. So all that being said, how you can initiate social work services for your clients. You need to obtain prior approval in writing from clinic faculty before you communicate with social worker about a specific case. After approval in writing, provide the request to social worker, describing what services you are looking for and what social work tasks that you are seeking. Then social worker and student attorney will meet up for a case consultation where we will discuss social services related resources, referrals to assist with client needs. After that, you need to communicate with the client, confirm with the client that they wish to be provided social worker assistance. And it is important to let your client know before connecting with a social worker the difference between mandatory reporting and attorney-client privileges. Your client need to understand that social worker is a mandatory reporter and that social worker may report acts or suspected acts of physical or mental or medical abuse or neglect to a vulnerable adult or to a child or any risk of harm to self or others. So if your client is in agreement with social work involvement and signs the client's consent and release forms, we can schedule a meeting. As a assigned student attorney, your presence is mandatory at the initial meeting only. After that, social work and client can continue to meet if it's necessary. And social worker also can provide clients with a case exit needs assessment, a document detailing recommendations, social services which were referred to them as a part of their case closure process. The detailed engaging process of social worker and some social worker services also can be found in your student handbook, pages 19 and 21. So, importance of being trauma informed. Many lawyers are exposed to trauma in their day-to-day work while engaging with clients who have been traumatized. They listen to graphic descriptions of violence or other negative experiences of their clients. Every attorney who works with traumatized clients is affected at some level in different ways. Although often it may not be damaging or career limiting, it is very important to be aware of how trauma can impact you, not just your client, and also how it can impact you when looking at your work with the clients. So, what is trauma? American Psychological Association dictionary defines trauma as any disturbing experience that results in significant fear, helplessness, confusion, or other disruptive feelings that might have a long-lasting negative effect on a person's behavior and other daily functioning. Vicarious trauma and secondary trauma are both types of indirect trauma that can occur when someone is exposed to another person's traumatic experience. However, they differ on timing and impact. For example, secondary trauma may occur suddenly after hearing a client's story one time, and it can cause PTSD like symptoms such as flashbacks and avoidance behavior. On another hand, vicarious trauma, also known as secondary traumatic stress, may occur when someone is repeatedly exposed to traumatic materials over time and can lead to a shift in their worldview. For example, domestic violence cases, which might make you stop believing that healthy relationships are possible. So, where we might see trauma. As I mentioned before, in client trauma narratives. When you hear clients' stories one time or when a similar experience follow you from case to case. Personal connections or history with sensitive issues, and you can relate to the client's trauma experiences. Of course, racial inequalities in a justice system, intersectionality, discrimination or disadvantages by race, class, or gender. And when you experience trauma, what is its impact? There are some most common examples, such as negative impact on pre-existing mental health issues or mental health in general. Trauma complicates person's physical health and leads to long-term challenges. Trauma can be a cause of behavioral health issues and concerning risky behavior, can lead to multiple substance misuse problems and substance dependency. So, what trauma-informed practice we can implement and how to be trauma-informed? First off, identify trauma. What are the triggers? Adjust lawyer-client relationship and adapt lawyering strategies. Acknowledge of the role trauma plays in the relationship between you and your clients. Reduce the re-traumatization and continue building connections with client and improve your advocacy. Prevent vicarious trauma. Increase your self-observation, recognize your signs of stress, vicarious trauma, burnout, and take care of yourself emotionally and physically. And remember to recognize extensiveness of trauma when a person is exposed to multiple or long-term traumatic events over an extended period of time. Minimize re-traumatization, build positive connections. Support healing and resilience, self-care, relax, and reduce signs of stress. Remember to see the whole situation, identify what is the trigger, address the root cause of violence, why it is happening. So, to sum it all up, what you can do to prevent vicarious trauma. Be self-aware, engage in relaxing activities, not work-related, yoga, exercises, walk with a dog, hiking. Check in, take care of yourself, practice work-life balance. Talk about it. Make sure that you talk with people you trust on considering seeing a mental health specialist like a therapist. Focus on positive in your day-to-day life, things and people who make you feel happy and safe. Share and learn with others. Build connection. Connect with yourself and others at work and beyond. Discuss your vicarious trauma experiences with supervisors if needed. So that will be it for this presentation. Here you can see some references and resources which were used in this presentation and which can be additional materials for reading if you're interested. Also, I will be sending every week on Wednesday a wellness email for additional materials to review. Upon request, some trainings can be provided if needed. Also, we will be continuing doing our podcast, Trial and Triumph, a wellness podcast for student attorneys. A link can be found in my weekly emails. Also, starting from February, every first Wednesday of the month till the end of semester, we will be doing wellness events for the students and faculty. More information will be provided shortly in one of our newsletters. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact me via email and we can get you sorted regarding the social services needs related to the legal case or your personal wellness and resilience needs. Thank you again for being here, and we're happy to have you.